This is one of the walking trails, bike trails, scooter trails. It's a great place for people to come out just for recreation. You can walk as much as you want to. We saw some scooters come by a few minutes ago. There are people out here all over the place walking their dogs. Just a great place to come in Murfreesboro.
And this is paved out here. Some of them are gravel and some of them are paved. And that is the site of the old Nashville Trace. It follows it all the way back. And all of these trails intersect. And many of them are blocked off, no vehicular traffic at all, so people can feel very safe. And where there is vehicular traffic, there are bike trails cut out of them, so you've got a bike path that's safe. We're going to go on this one. This is the Slaughter Pen, and it's only about a half a mile. And it's very, very interesting to find that these are going to all the different battlegrounds. Hey guys, welcome to Tennessee Trails again. You'll be joining me and Jay Walker and our guest cameraman Taff Williams on a little bit more of an unusual journey than what you're used to seeing. We're going to be taking you on an historical trail, and it is an amazing adventure, something that even we didn't know about, and here we are right in the middle of it. We're going to be going to the Stones River National Battlefield in Murfreesboro. And in this amazing national park, there are trails for biking, for walking, for running, for taking your dog out, and most especially a wonderfully safe and easy place for the kids. Stones River National Battlefield, unknown to all of us here, turns out to be one of the most strategic battles that occurred in Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee was a strategic location. President Lincoln had stated that in Middle Tennessee, he felt it was the keystone of the South due to its strategic availability of rivers and railways for both troop movement and supply lines, and it was something important that the Union had to gain a foothold. The Union was in poor shape with the public opinion waning. They'd lost a lot of battles, and the South, the Confederate Army, was just south of Murfreesboro and feeling pretty confident that they could push the Union out of Murfreesboro and eventually out of Nashville. So this was a very important battle to the success or the loss for the Union.
Another one of the many trails here at Stones River. They don't all follow the road. This one goes back in the woods. It's the Cedars Trail, just one of many that you can hike. We've seen some hikers out here earlier, and it's a good day for it and a good place for it.
And they also have, you can see how this ties in alongside the road, but then also heads back in another direction through what they call the Cotton Field Battlefield.
Yeah.
And what was fascinating about this battlefield, again, the Nashville Pike is just on the perimeter there.
That's our main road, right?
That was the main road that was the supply line, again, for both armies. And the Confederates had lost control of it, and they were on this direction to the south. And they pushed the Union Army all the way back to this area. And basically it was a defeat of the battle, but the Union regained and maintained control of the pike.
Wow.
So the Union lost the battle and won the war.
So guys, have you been here before at all?
Yeah, I came last fall.
Okay.
And did quite a bit of research and doing that, and then Jay and I came back and did a little bit more so we could get ready for this particular documentary. And
okay.
I was just so blown away by how extensive it is and how well done it is.
It is. It's preserved.
It's
really
amazing, yeah.
I've been to a few battlefield sites, you know, around the different states, but this one is like unique.
It's really well done. I mean, they duplicated all the different kinds of Appalachian fencing, and we just got so much outstanding information along each trail. You'll find a kiosk or something that'll give you some information.
Wow. That's...
So, on to the cotton field.
On to the cotton fields it is. Okay, guys. All right.
On December 30th, both armies gathered. The Union Army was in Nashville, of course, and the Confederate Army came up from Tullahoma, Tennessee, to the south side of Murfreesboro. On the 31st of December in 1862, they met on the battlefield, and it was brutal. There was thousands of men who were killed or wounded or captured in the first day of this battle. And we are going to be showing you what happened also on the second and third day of this amazing battle. We're going to be touring 4 different engagement sites. There's going to be the Slaughter Pen, which you'll find out why it was called the Slaughter Pen. And we're going to be going to the Cotton Field, the Round Table, and the McFadden Farm, all of which are accessible by auto. And then each one has a series of trails that takes you through each battlefield with informational kiosks all along the way. The visitor center is chock full of information, anecdotal stories, mock-ups of some of the camps and the artillery and the infantrymen that were there. It has got a wonderful brochure with walking trails marked. It's an information wonder, and you can enjoy it on foot. You can enjoy it from your car, and it's such an historic and incredible place to actually find out about history that we don't learn about much anymore. There were 80,000 men on this site. It's about 500 acres at the time, and they lost 29% of their fighting force, which equaled Gettysburg. The only difference is Gettysburg lasted longer. This in 3 days lost 29% and was considered, even then, one of the most strategic battles of the war. The Union won strategically. The Confederates had to retreat, and that created the downfall that eventually resulted in the Confederate armies giving up, sadly for them, but no more lives were lost. It's a very somber experience, but you're going to learn a lot. Let's go. The park in general to me is one of the top that I've ever been to, and I wish our state would adopt some of these issues. It's so complete. They've thought of everything, from the visitor center that is just filled with information and beautiful reenactments, and then the kiosks that are scattered around this park give you a really good sense of where the battles were, how they were fought, and why they were fought. And having the Nashville Pike still the Nashville Pike after all these years.
So this is what you were talking about before, right?
Yeah. Imagine camping here. You can hear the enemy not that far away, stirring around, knowing that you're going to be engaged in a deadly fight the next day. How could you sleep? And as it says, the bands of both armies began to play. One band played Home Sweet Home. The other bands joined in. And when the song finished, uneasy silence lay thick on the night. And many knew it would be the last song they would ever hear.
You know, Jay, the fact that that's still the Nashville Pike after 180 some odd years is remarkable.
That was a crucial thoroughfare for both armies, and Confederates were trying to retake it. The Union had it, and they had the Union backed up to the Nashville Pike, and the Confederates were trying to take it, I guess, try to take this railroad as well. And the Union Army stood their ground and beat back the challenge.
Well, it was essential because it was their only supply line.
Right.
Primarily, the railroad was a supply line of sorts, but this was their main supply line that serviced Rosecrance's fortress down there, as well as all these different encampments with all these different regiments. And they beat them back.
Yeah. And the road is still here, and the railroad is still here.
And it's still named the Nashville Pike.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. And it's artillery like this that they had stationed all up and down this pike that allowed them to keep the Confederates at bay. And this just annihilated them. Interesting, of the sites because of the incredible. Look at this.
It gives me chills to think about what happened here.
Yep.
Those very rocks had bodies of dead soldiers laying across them,
yep.
bloodied, and the same rocks and,
are still here.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Exactly.
right.
And
So,
the major part of the battle would have been out into the fields that encompass this, but they still had to push the Confederates back again to the south. So, and this is what they had to deal with. I mean, you can't even get horses across that. You know what I mean?
They
It's
call it the slaughter pen for a good reason.
For a good reason.
A lot of soldiers were killed here.
Absolutely. I'll walk on over here and take a good look. We've got a couple of these silhouettes, which are, I think, right?
Imagine trying to duck behind these rocks.
A lot of good that would do with
Yeah.
a cannonball coming at you. Oh. I love the way they set up these silhouettes to kind of give you a sense, Oh, this is just mind-boggling. I mean, look at this.
Well, General Bragg thought he had the battle won, and it turned out he didn't. But he told his commanders, "God's granted us a happy New Year." He was so wrong. So many lost in this battle. The Confederates were over here trying to push the Union back. There's Nashville Pike there. The railroad goes behind it, behind that cemetery. And the Union Army was over in this area. They held their ground. They'd been pushed back this far, but they held their ground. Bragg couldn't move them. So he did not have the battle won, as he had told his commanders.